All right, here we are live in the morning session. It should only be about a couple hours. Hopefully the strategy works great. A little nervous first day with the new strategy, but we'll see what happens here. I'd like to pass this thing in the next 4 days. So hopefully today's a winner and the next couple days are winners, and this is easy for me. We shall see. Got the ES queued up, making sure all my stuff is good. Double check the settings over here. Got the 10 in there. Got the brackets. Brackets 8 and 16 is what I'm going to go with. All that looks good. Back to the charts. Make sure I still have ES. All right, market's selling off this morning. Let's see how far it's going to go before it wants to bounce and give me a trade to the long side. I'm looking for a long trade right now. P&L is not 1600. That's what it should be after my first trade. And looking at this sell-off, it's tempting just to get in. Get short. Get in and get short. Go for the ride. It's got plenty of room to go. That's what I keep telling myself right now. The volume is massive. Big, giant, short volume right now. But it's got a long way it could go. All the way down to 7420, it looks like, or more. All right, so I'm just waiting for a switch to start to set up to the long side. Then I'll come and jump in. Until then, I'm going to be back in a little bit. Okay, looks like we might have a live trade, or live. We might have a trade setting up to the long side. Maybe not. Just kidding. So I just did some quick checking on the math using my calculator, my trade calculator. So right now it looks like this might be a 23-point move coming up risk-wise, which would be $1,100, which is too much money for me right now. So I need to switch over to the MES. So switching over to the micros here. And then I'll go back to my calculator. Switch it to MES. Link in the description below if you're interested in these tools. And then let's see, contract-wise, what does that come out to? What do I need to get? 8? Yeah, about 8. 7. 7 contracts. That's what I'm looking at. All right, going back to the charts. So I'm going to queue up 7 contracts while we're waiting for that. All right, I'll bring the next trade to you when it happens. Good morning, Ryan, Brian. Just because it didn't work out for the numbers, I know NQ and the ES pretty much move the same kind of, but not quite. They're slightly different with my indicator, so the numbers just weren't working out so great. So ES seemed to have more like a 60% return, whereas NQ is a bit less, even though they look like they move the same. I'm not sure exactly why it gets picked up different in the indicator, but it's picked up a little different. Another thing too with NQ, which is difficult, is I like to trail my stop. I like to get out by trailing my stop down. So a lot of times ES will come through the target and it'll just hang out there for a little bit and then it'll go back up if it's not going to keep going. Whereas NQ will spike through and spike right back up. So sometimes it's hard to grab that stop and drag it down to my target in time. Hoping we can get it set up here to the long side. I don't really want to get long. This thing's selling off so crazy. But that's what I'm supposed to do. Right now we're in a support area, so maybe we'll get a bounce that'll be worthy. But to get long right now is kind of scary. We're almost there, so we might be getting long here. And big moves right now in the NQ, or not NQ, in the ES. So I had to switch over to the MES because I wouldn't be able to hold the regular mini. It would exceed my risk. I'm going to try to risk around 800 for this trade. I should make about 1600 on it, I think. I don't know. We're going to find out. First time trading the new strategy full swing, so we'll see what it actually does. Might be a disaster. But I got 4 days to pass my evaluation before I get rebuild, so I'm really hoping I can get it passed. Get it passed in the next couple days. Alright, might still want to go down. It's a big sell-off this morning. Is there news? Did news come out? I don't know. I didn't check the news before we started trading. So you can see right now we're at the support area. Right now, this was resistance, became some support. Now it's retesting that to be support. So not a bad area to get long, I guess, if it bounces hard enough from here. Yep. Yeah, going all the way back, this is a pretty contested zone. Looking at the 1 minute candle right now. Go look at the 5. Let's see what the 5 says. 5, same thing. Pretty contested zone. Still got more legs to go to the downside if it wants to get to the bottom of it, though. Probably another 20 points or so, maybe 15 points. Let's go look at the 30. Yeah, you can really clearly see it in the 30-minute chart. Really contested. Pretty good solid floor here. Will it get through it? We do have news coming out. It looks like consumer confidence. Oh, it already came out at 9, so that's why we're selling off. That must have been a bad news report. Consumer confidence. And bringing us right back down here. We'll see if it wants to break to new lows. That would be pretty wild. If it does, man, this thing's got a long way to go. Another 100 points or more. Not that it will go there. It could be a little fake out breakout, right? Spike to the bottom side and then rip higher the rest of the day. Going back to the, let's go to the 1 hour chart. Yep. Same thing. You can see that solid support area. All right, we'll see. Just looking for a bounce. Gotta wait for confirmation though before I try to jump in. But man, when this thing started selling off, I'm like, I want to get short. I wish I would have did it. But that would have been the time that it ripped higher. It's casino trading and would have lost everything. So another thing between the NQ and the ES, which I'm going to find out this week by actually trading and seeing what the numbers come out, is some things on the 1 minute chart are expensive. So like gold, for example, the spread is so huge on gold that, and the moves I'm looking for are so small that I have to have like a risk 1 to 3 is what it needs to look like on the chart just to get a solid 1-to-1 because of the spread and commissions getting in and getting out. It's so expensive. But with the ES, it's also kind of expensive, whereas the NQ is not too bad at all. But the ES is a little bit expensive. So we're going to see at the end of the week how the numbers actually work out. And if this is too expensive, then I'm going to have to look, go back to the drawing board a little bit with NQ or even the Dow. But I'm hoping this will work out just fine. We'll see. Right now the spread on this is sticking to a quarter. It looks like every now and then it's 50 cents. Man, I hope I don't get a 50-cent spread to get in. 75 cents right there for a moment. Wow, that would be really bad. Yeah, we're going to see what these fills end up actually being. 25 cents will be fine. 25 cents in, 25 cents out will be fine. Yeah, definitely pay attention to your spreads, man, because they change. They change throughout the day. They change by the day. Sometimes the more volatile, the bigger the spread. Yeah, good luck, Ryan. I hope you make some money today. What a sell-off. breaking new lows. Let's go back to the 30 so I can see better what's happening here. Right at the bottom of that main area. Is it going to flush or is it going to be a liquidity play? Yeah, Ryan Bryan talks about using limit orders to help get the numbers you want, so the spread and stuff like that doesn't affect you that much, which I agree 100%. Only time I worry about limit orders, which are still better than the market order in this case, is sometimes when the market's moving fast, it jumps over your order and you never get filled. But I guess it's better to not get filled than to get a terrible fill and then the trade doesn't even matter, right? It's going against you anyway, pretty much. All right, we're moving on the way back up here. And then we'll see. Let's go. Will we bounce from here and give me a switch? Just thinking about it. Got a 1 minute candle that's bigger than the one before it. 5 minute candle, you can see the tail on it. Let's go back to the 1 minute. So we got this green candle going bigger than that candle. It's a good sign. Since I'm going to get long, I might as well get my stuff on the chart when I can. Alright, we're about to get long, it looks like. It's a pretty big move here. 7 minutes. We got how many seconds we got left? 3 seconds. 2. Alright, buying long. We're in long right now. In long with 7 contracts. Let me get my stop in the right spot. In long right now. 8-3. 7-4. Why is this not showing up right? 6-8-4. Why is this not showing up right? 422. 7422. I had the wrong stuff on my other screen. Messed me up over here for a second. Make a break. Really want my stop to be at the bottom of this. I can do it. I was looking at the wrong screen over here, so I don't have the right number of contracts. 438. I'm too light on contracts. Already making mistakes. Of course I would be. 438 is the target. We're already through, almost through the target. 439. Alright, too light on the contracts, traders. I should be up like $1,800 right now, and I'm blowing it. Blowing it the first trade out of the gate. How am I supposed to pass this evaluation if I can't even get the right number of contracts? And it hit my target and I didn't get out. So now I might be double blowing it. Hit the target and I didn't get out. Oh man. It's like, do I add more contracts now? No, the trade is pretty much over. If anything, I should get out break even and just say I screwed it up. Do I add more contracts now? No, the trade is pretty much over. I guess I'll do that. Get out break even and just say I screwed it up. Actually, I'll wait. I will wait. This looks. We're gonna add buy.
Order filled.
All right, we bought 7 more contracts. Now we got 14 contracts. I should be in the minis instead of the micros on this. What am I doing? Actually, I should be out of this trade right now. What am I doing? And by adding to this position right now, I just gave away 1 more of my trades on the day, so that wasn't smart either. Off to a rough start, looks like. But maybe we'll get lucky. We got 9 minutes before the new 30-minute candle opens. You can see a nice retrace if that happens. So I'm risking 557 right now to make 682. That's not great either. Just because where my average entry is. So everything about this trade is messed up. Oh man. Oh man. I'll tell you what, next time it goes pokes and green, I'm just going to get out. Call a mental reset. Wait for the next setup. And it is what it is. I'm just going to get out. Call a mental reset. Wait for the next setup. And it is what it is. Even though after this big bounce, there could be a huge run back up. Alright, I'm dropping my stop there. If it doesn't go back up again, I'll just get out and call this a scratch trade. I screwed it up. Alright, I'm dropping my stop there. If it doesn't go back up again, I'll just get out and call this a scratch trade. I screwed it up. Come on, let's go. You can do it. One more test of that spot again. Come on, let's go. Or I'll get out break even plus a few dollars. This is just the only downside to it is it messes up your averages. All right, here we go. We're going to get out break even plus a few bucks.
Order filled.
$17. So that'll go to my averages. So when I'm having like $1,000 winning trades and then $17 winning trades, then my average losers and my average winners looks way lopsided. All right, flatten and cancel all just to make sure. Now I'm going to go back over to the minis. And I was all messed up. I was looking at NQ actually in my other chart instead of MES or ES. All right, back to the ES then. Since I should be able to hold these on the ES, let me go do some math now just to double check. Make sure I can carry these on the ES. I should be able to hold these on the ES. Let me go do some math now just to double check. Make sure I can carry these on the ES. So it looks like the moves are actually around 7 to 8 point risks. So we're looking at around 7, 1 contract, 2 contracts. Yeah. All right, so I'll do 2 contracts. 2 contracts. Going back to the charts. So this first trade should have been a $1,600 winner, and instead I'm up $17. And losers are coming, you know, and if I'm not getting the winners to pay for the losers, that makes it hard. And then 2 contracts. Let me not mess this up. All right, so we got 2 contracts on deck. We got ES, ES. Other chart says ES. Got the right tools on. All right, we're ready to go for the next trade, which will be a switch to the short side. And then I'll be going long again. All right, we're ready to go for the next trade, which will be a switch to the short side. Sorry about all that echoing from the my other monitor. I just turned that sound off. I thought it was off. All right, we might be getting a switch to the short side. I'm going to clear all this old stuff off. And then I'll be going long, and this will be a loser because I skipped the first winner. Of course, it'll be that way. And then I'll just have to come back tomorrow and get back on the horse. All right, I'm going to get this on the chart, though. I don't know where it's going to be, but once it settles, I'll drop that in there. Really close to a switch to the short side, which will give me a long trade looking for a retrace. Which, if that can happen right before the new 30-minute candle opens, like it might right now, this will be great. Because chances are that 30-minute red candle is going to retrace. We'll see. Alright, just hanging out, traders. But we are at that bottom of that support area. Let's go back, look at the 30. Let's see what it did here. So it came in, poked just the very, very bottom of it, and got that rejection. Let's remove this. And then got that rejection. We're going to see if it wants to poke it again before the next 30-minute candle opens and retraces. So you're looking at the 30 right there. That candle looks like it wants to retrace to me. Right on the support area. But I got to get my switch before I can get long, or I'll just not go for the ride. Okay. Might be getting that switch now. Switching. How much time do we got? 50 seconds. Let's see if it'll hold. As long as it stays below this spot here, we'll hold. And I'll get long 2 contracts. Kind of a counter trend trade. Don't usually like that too much, but it is on the bounce area. And a retrace coming up here in a minute and a half. Alright, we're coming back down. $15 seconds. I'm going to get long on the ES. All right, 5 seconds. And we're long.
Order filled.
$7.13, $7.14 even. $7.414. A little bit below. Got my stop target 7.433. Make sure that's working out pretty close. Actually 7.34. All right. So it looks like my actual earnings on this trade would be risking 1 to make 1.5, even though it looks like on my other chart it's risking 1 to make 2. We might still be able to get that. New 30-minute candle opens in 3 seconds. Hopefully get a nice boost up with a retrace here. There it goes. Keep going. Don't stop. All right, it's getting stuck. I don't like it. Keep going. Don't do it. All right, here we go. Coming into the target. Man, today could have been such an awesome day if I didn't mess up that first trade. All right, so we're basically in the move stop to break even plus a couple dollars. So that's what I'm doing. And then hopefully we get lucky in this next 1 minute candle push in here. We can capture this. I might just capture it anyway at 1,000 and just call it a day. This will be my last trade since I had 2 winners. And those 2 winners should have delivered me 3R if I had not messed up the first one. And might get tagged out on this one too. Might be one of those days, traders. We're going to move this up. As we could be building energy for a breakout of a little bit of an M or W pattern here. So I'm going to give this a little bit of room, if I'm not going to get stopped out first. So just following the rules, break even plus a couple dollars, wait for it to get through the target, then move my stop up. Even though I want to just take my trade off the table right now, take my 900, call it a day. All right, we're pushing through. All right, let's see, what are you gonna do? Oh, I just missed it. Looked over at my other chart and just missed it. All right, I'm gonna drop it and take it. Basically in the target, trade's dead there. So 1,100 at $1,160 is what I'm at right now. $1,160 on the day. Should have been like a $3,000 day, but I fumbled my first order and didn't quite get enough contracts to make my $800 risk on this one. But the good thing is I'm able to see real time, what looked like on my other computer a risk 1 to make 2 is in actuality a risk 1 to make 1.5, maybe a tiny bit more on this one. And sometimes it'll boost. It'll get to my target, it'll boost up, and I'll be risking 1 to make 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. But on average, if I can do 1.5, then this strategy works. Let's go look at the 30-minute candle so you can see what I was looking at over there. So this is on my other monitor the whole time, the 30. So you can see it's retracing. And it got pretty much a halfway retrace on it. So is it going to be done now and come back down? I don't know. Maybe. But usually I like to look at these and look for at least a halfway retrace. Could try to get all of it, but I don't know that it's going to happen. I mean, right now the market's wants to sell off, it looks like. So until it starts making higher highs and higher lows, it's still a short market, or a downward market. Yeah, exactly right, Brian, on the ES. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So it's kind of, with the movement wise, it moves fine for me, like distance wise. It's just that distance compared to the spread. So this move just now was what, like a 8-point risk? Is that what I had on my calculator? 7-point, a 7-point risk or 7-point move for the risk side of it. Almost 13 for the. What did I actually end up doing? 11. So I ended up doing 11 points on the entry to profit, and the spread keeps opening up anywhere from a quarter to 50 cents sometimes, maybe a little bit more. So if I would have caught 50 cents on it, I would have given up 10% of that move. 10% or 50 cents in and 50 cents out. It would have cost me 10% on that move. So $1,000 move would have cost me $100, which is it's fine for what I'm doing. It works money wise, but it's still expensive. 10%. Imagine I was like, hey, if you trade with me, I'm going to charge you 10% commission on all your executions. You're going to be like, what? Why would I do that? Well, when you look at the spread, that's what you're doing, and then you add commissions to it on top of that, so you get a little bit more beat up, and then on top of that, you go ahead and add any kind of slippage, which sim funded. The nice thing is you don't really get slippage. You pretty much get where you push the button. But once you get to live account, slippage will be a new factor to go in on top of that. But all right, everybody. So I got my 2 trades in for the day. Unfortunately, it's just going to be $1,160, which is really disappointing for me because I really want to pass this evaluation. Let's go look at the stats over here. All right, so here we are. So my account balance now is 152,500. I need to get to 159 in the next 3 days. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board as far as risk goes. Let's see if we can make it. If we don't, we don't. You know, worst case scenario, I rebill and I only have to make $1,000 in that. So I mean, I guess it's nice. If I would have said $200 and you have to make $9,000 to pass, or $400 and you only have to make $1,000 to pass, you'd probably pay the $400, right, for the same account. So in that case, it's not so bad. So that $17, you can see where it affects that risk reward. Not risk reward, but average losing and average winning trade. It's still pretty tight, even though I get those little $17 bringing my averages down. Best trade, worst trade needs to get fixed, and it will over time here. And then here's my checkerboard calendar that I do not like, but it is what it is. So 1,160 for the day, and then we'll be good to go here. 3 days left. 3 days left. Let's see if we can make it happen. All right, everybody. I'll be back all week from just before 9:30 till I get my 2 trades in. Sometimes that gets done fast, like today, and other days it goes to about 11, 10:30, 11 o'clock. So, all right, everybody. We'll see you on the next trade.